Any more copies of this?
We are recording.
Share it with me.
Okay, good evening. This is the Town of Harwich Finance Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, June 13th, 2023 at 6:30 PM, and I'll call the meeting to order. Just notify you that as required by the open meeting law, you are hereby informed that the town will be video and audio recording as well as live broadcasting this public meeting. In addition, anyone in the audience who intends to video or audio tape this meeting must notify the chair prior to the start of the meeting. And I don't see anyone, so the meeting is called to order.
I still have a message that says,
Say it again, Dana?
I still have a message that says that the camera's on.
I'll take care of that.
He's taking care of it.
Oh, yeah, it does look like.
Oh, that guy. Hang on, we're fixing you up.
Always. I figure it's technical, so.
Okay, you got it?
Not yet.
I can figure it just came on there.
Now you got it? Okay. And I'll note for the record that Dana DaCosta is participating remotely somewhere around Memphis for this meeting. So, welcome, Dana.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to be joined this evening by our new Finance Director, Kathleen Barrett. She just ran down to the office to get a document for us, and she'll be right back. We will be talking about budget transfers, end-of-year budget transfers. But before we do that, I have minutes of May 1st, 2023, which is the night of town meeting, to approve. Hopefully you got them, and I'd entertain a motion to accept and adopt those.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so Bob moved. Mark K. No, I didn't get the K, seconded, to approve the minutes of May 1st. Any discussion, comments? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye. Aye.
Mark A. Mark K.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And you were not there, Dana. In
I
person.
watched the entire meeting. I was not.
I know you were trying to be there, but you couldn't, so.
I watched the entire meeting.
Okay. Hey, Dana, just as our clerk, would you do me a favor and just make sure there are no, after this one, outstanding minutes that we have not approved for this year?
I'll do that, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
check
I'll
on
do
that,
that.
okay? All right.
And I did get my email on the transfers, so I have it.
You just got it?
I
Good.
apologize.
Yeah.
That's okay.
The wrong name system filled. so-
Okay, so we're gonna now get to the year-end budget transfers. I wanna welcome Kathleen Barrett, our new finance director. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
This is the Friendly Finance Committee that we know you'll have many interactions with. I guess if I could just ask a couple of logistic things. I know that you work for the Board of Selectmen, so one of the questions is, if we have questions of you during the course of whatever, should we go directly to you? Should my committee come to me and then I go to you? How would you like the flow of communications? Or have you talked about that at all?
We actually hadn't, but it's a really good question. It probably I would think probably the best thing would be to have the board communicate through you, and probably email is the best way, so I have all the details and we can kind of clarify, and then I can agree to respond.
Okay, now we've done that before. I act as the chair, whoever that is acts as the point person. That way we don't get a lot of discussions
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
But we also would like the ability to be able to have this committee, as a committee, deal directly with you if that makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's no limitation to be like, I'm sorry, I'm only talking to one person.
No, and if we get too old or too cranky, let me know and we'll
No,
just
no,
stop
yeah.
doing it, so. So what is your email address?
It is Kathleen with a K. Dot Barrett. B is a boy. ARRETTE. At Harwich hyphen
Ooh, always dangerous.
.gov. I know.
Dash and dot
It's
Dash.
Harwich
You missed a bit.
dash
MA.
.gov.
Howard's
Not an underscore, a dash.
Like a
Hyphen.
middle, a hyphen.
Okay, hyphen, okay.
Dash, yeah.
Tricky.
Yeah, I may, what I may do is, I may just get all your email addresses and just email it to you.
Or I may do a sample, I may do a trial tomorrow, whatever. And what's your phone extension, just so we know?
It is 3335.
Okay, good.
Terrific.
And you're in the same office downstairs?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, so we know how to find you.
That's where I am. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so the agenda item is the year-end budget transfers. For any of you that have not been through this before, at the end of each year, the finance director, probably sitting down with the town administrator and some other folks, sits down and within budgets, within departments, if you will, works out what might be needed to make some adjustments at the year end. In other words, we didn't spend enough on grass seed, but we spent more on paper clips. I'm being facetious, but it's kind of like that. So we have to clean up the paperclip account because we can't run into a deficit, and we have to take it from somewhere within that department's budget. It's quite, it is that simple. But these are new to us in that we have not seen these before tonight, so why don't you walk us through these, and we can vote them, one at a time as we see fit. You can share with me, Bob.
Yep.
The first one is actually my department, and due to the staffing changes in the office, there was a consultant that was brought on board during the transition period. And so there is a surplus in salary and wages due to the gap, but there was an increase in unanticipated professional and technical services. So this transfer here is to account for that, the difference between salaries and expenses.
Okay, so let me just ask you a question. We had the detail in front of us as far as the account numbers and the name and, the numbers. Are you okay if we just vote we approve that transfer?
Of course.
Or would you want more detail?
No, that's fine. I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to do them individually or.
I do want to do them individually, just so, in case we want to talk about them,
No,
so.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry, do you need a calendar?
oh, here you
I
go.
was late.
Oh, that's all right.
You got this, Dana? You're set?
Extra one for Michelle, too?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Oh, gosh.
And if you don't, we're sharing.
can share.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank
I
you very much.
miscounted
No,
my
you have it.
printer.
No,
That's not my
we'll share.
printer, apparently. Everybody else does except my printer. I can.
No.
No, it's fine.
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay,
we can-
my apologies.
It's not a problem.
I emailed it to someone to print.
Dan?
Peter, I have a general question.
Go ahead.
Does the state of Massachusetts have any stipulations as to what accounts you can transfer from and to? Like, for example, can you transfer money from the police department to the fire department?
Yes, you
Okay.
only in May and June.
Okay.
It's an interdepartmental transfer. It's only in May and June.
All right, so it's a pretty open system then.
Yeah, because it is kind of expected that there are unanticipated events. Sometimes, you have a big storm, the fire department responds, it's unanticipated. And, the police department, everybody was in their house and there was no trouble for a week, so there was no overtime. So, this tries to give some flexibility because of how far ahead you have to, prepare, plan and prepare a budget. So they try not to limit it so much that, because you made a best effort. And so this kind of gives you a little bit of flexibility, but only at the end of the year when you really know where you stand. You wouldn't want to be like, we made a mistake, at town meeting, so we're going to change it in August to completely change the scope of the department. This is more for.
Dana, can you hear the conversation?
Yes, I also know that there's DOR rules that, I think it's limited to 3% is the total that can be transferred at one point, and,
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure, I'm just making sure you can hear what's going on, that's all.
yep, I can hear it.
Okay,
The reason I ask is because I came from New York and am familiar with the New York municipal
Oh, okay.
accounting, and there were some restrictions on transfers between major purposes.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
And I was just curious.
Yeah, no, in this instance, it's within the same fund, you know, it
Okay.
wouldn't be like we're not transferring, you know, from the fire department to the water department or the outside fund. It's within the same general fund budget.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so when we do the motions, my suggestion is, and we'll use this one as an example, and I'm not doing this, just a sample, it would be, I move that we approve the transfer request of the town accounting budget of $50,000 to be transferred. And if we do that, we'll have covered what's in these items. Okay? So someone want to take a shot at the first one?
Can I ask another question first?
I want to get the motion on the
Oh,
table
okay.
first, so
Got
let's
it.
do that.
I so move. Do you want it in the full format?
Okay, so,
I move to transfer $50,000 from the town accounting other professional services budget from the salary and wages budget and the estimated wage adjustment.
so basically you're saying you're moving to approve the request within the town accounting budget for a transfer of $50,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Discussion. Now, what question might you have, sir?
Could you just explain the difference between the two lines with the 25,000s on them?
The first line is the salary and wages, is the actual specific salary line for that department. And then underneath is the estimated wage adjustments, which is the generic funds that were set aside for collective bargaining and like all the unanticipated wage adjustments. So it's not specific to the town accounting department. You'll see as we go through it, it's used for a couple of other transfers. And it's kind of common practice when you have contracts that are still not settled, you're not sure what the liability will be, you can set up fund aside for specific wage adjustments.
Thank you very much.
And obviously, not obviously, but at the end of any negotiated contract or wage adjustments, there was $25,000 left to be able to be transferred. So,
Yes.
Dan?
And I assume that these are pretty much year-end adjustments that you're making to kind of balance
Exactly.
the accounts so that nobody's running.
You have to close out this budget year before you move into the next,
Yeah.
which starts July 1st.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we do this typically in June.
And there's, you know, we're so close to year end, this is why it's done so late in the year.
Right.
Because you have a much more accurate,
Sure.
you know, you're only 2 weeks of salary where Eric
You already know your
did it
actuals.
in May.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
certainty between now and the end of the month,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chairman's aye. It's, let me get the count right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 0, yes, thank you. All right. Second one is a request within the assessors department to transfer $82,000, I'm sorry. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to transfer $82,000 into the assessors, other professional technical services line account.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the assessors transfer at $82,000. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Okay, the next one has to do with town collections and group health insurance, and it's a $3,000 request. Could I have a motion?
I make a motion to transfer $3,000 into the town collections supplies account.
Second.
Did you second it, Dana? Who seconded?
I
Dan.
did.
Oh, you did, okay, all right.
Okay.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Thank you. Next, we have within the town Planner Department, we have a request to transfer $5,760. Have a motion?
I move to move $5,760 within the town planner into the other professional technical services line item.
There's a
Second.
All right, moved and seconded to make that transfer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle? Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Okay, next we have transfer request, Recreation Department salary and wages. And again, this is one using selectmen estimated wage adjustments, and the total is $5,000. Have a motion?
I move to move $5,000 into the recreation salary and wages account line item from the estimated wage adjustment account.
Here's a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to make the adjustment to transfer $5,000 to recreation salary and wages. Any discussion?
Other question?
Yep.
Is this a across-the-board expense, or was this for a specific role?
It was for the seasonal, it wasn't specific to like a certain group, but just all the seasonal employees as a whole.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aye.
Michelle? Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Thank you very much. Okay, next is a request to transfer $725.03 to the sealer of weights and measures from the group health insurance retirement account, town retirement account.
I move to move $725.03 into the sealer of weights and measures line item from the group health insurance account.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, moving seconded to approve that transfer. Any further discussion?
I just question, what is the sealer of weights and measures? What is that?
If you've ever gotten gas and you see the little sticker on the gas station, or at the grocery store, it is where they actually certify that what is being dispensed or weighed is actually correct. And it's only done by, the town of Barnstable has them. And so they do all the other towns because it's such a kind of obscure task. But there was, their estimating versus their actual, they gave estimates, but because of the lag, and then they recalculated, so it's slightly off. It's kind of a obscure one-off expense. Each town just pays like a portion of their expenses.
So Michelle, if you don't approve that, a gallon will no longer be a gallon.
No, I just couldn't understand that, from group health insurance, so I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, only because there was, we're very fortunate, with budgeting, that there was a big remaining surplus in health insurance account.
Ah.
So that was one of the accounts that we.
Oh, so the two are completely
They're
unrelated?
completely
Oh, that's
unrelated, yeah,
why.
which is kind of like. an
But you have to take it
unusual-
from somewhere, otherwise they're coming back to you, the taxpayer,
Yeah.
to make up the difference.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
but
thank
animal
you.
weigh like 3 pounds now.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
But it's unusual, it's just a one line item and it's one payment that we make, that's the only time we ever use it.
Got
I
it.
do know that they
Go ahead, Dana.
certify the scale each year at the dump, so the weight is correct at the dump.
Okay, any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle? Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Thank you. Okay, next gets us into the electrical inspector and the building department. A swap of transfer of $25,000, the salary and wages between those two entities. Have a motion?
I make a motion to transfer $25,000 into the electrical inspector salary and wages.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to make that transfer at $25,000. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. You guys are on a roll. Thank you. Okay, next one, my favorite topic, has to do with snow and ice. Anybody think it snowed this year? Did it snow much?
Not much.
Not much, okay. Could I have a motion? This one is $141,559.88, and once we have a motion, we'll try and understand where the number came from.
Yeah,
I make a motion to transfer $141,559.88 into the snow and ice public works supplies line item.
I second.
Okay, it's been seconded to move $141,559.88 into the snow and ice public works supplies. Discussion, but let me ask Kathleen, do you know, it didn't snow much, but this looks like we bought a lot of salt or something.
Yes.
Is that,
Eastern Minerals, you always try to, when the name, roll it rolls, so this was the expense.
and some of these supplies are still there for next year, I assume?
Yes,
I'm at,
yes. It should actually be beneficial for next fiscal year, to have all of that surplus there at a better price. hopefully.
yeah, my impression is we didn't plow hardly at all, but we salted.
We did have a fair
salted.
amount of
Yeah,
low
and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want, yep. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
aye.
Dana?
Aye.
You probably weren't here to be the beneficiary of some of that salt, but they took good care. Right in front of your house, they dropped a lot of salt. I saw it every time.
I had left prior to my services being needed to do any of that work.
There you go.
Local salt.
Chair is an aye, so unanimous vote. Thank you. All right, going on to page 2. Request to transfer into legal services, $60,000. Have a motion?
I make a motion to transfer $60,000 into legal services.
I second.
I moved and seconded to move $60,000 or transfer $60,000 into legal services. Discussion.
Just
Yeah.
a quick question, Kathleen, and I don't need a detailed answer. Was there a general pattern to the collective bargaining agreements? In other words, were they 3-year agreements, and was there like a 3-5-5? Or were they varied among departments? And I don't want you getting in any detail, just
They're
to,
all 3-year agreements, but they are fairly varied, depending on, past practice and some of the things that were negotiated, especially like, fire, police, kind of have their own specialized, what they settle on, so.
like, for example, fire, police, what was the general, was there a,
I wouldn't want to say too much about them just because I have just a very,
Okay.
not a really deep understanding of them, just for not having gone through them all, because they were just recently signed. But in general, sometimes there's education incentives, maybe changes to, years of service. They may add a step in 20 or something like that. They're all a little bit different, police is, there's shift differentials, which is, separate from really any other department. So there are issues like that come up where they're really just unique to that particular department. There's not those types of adjustments and say the clerical union, so.
It's also, without getting into details, so we shouldn't do that here. But, the selectmen could go into different contract negotiations thinking they're going to work with a 2-year structure, and it could end up being a 3-year structure, and, numbers can change and whatnot. So there's always some flexibility in this. The good news is there's some money left to deal with, I guess, is the good news, right? From where we're sitting today, so. Okay, anything else on that one? All right, so that is we did vote the legal services, right? I did not get a motion.
No.
Wait a minute, do we vote the legal services?
No, I don't.
No.
I do
Okay,
not
because we're
believe
dealing with
we-
estimated wages, thank you. Okay, any further discussion on that? That one is the transfer of $60,000 into legal services. Hearing none, I'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Okay, next is a request to transfer $35,000 into fire salary and wages. Have a motion, please?
I make a motion to transfer $35,000 into fire salary and wages.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there a discussion on that? I'll point out in this case, if you look where it's coming from, town engineer's salary and wages, we did not have a town engineer. So that money was available. All right, any further discussion on that? Again, the request is $35,000 to be transferred into fire salary and wages. Hearing none, I'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle? Bob?
Aye.
Is that an aye?
Yes.
Okay, that was a yes. Okay, Dana?
Aye.
There you go. All right, thank you. Chair votes aye. Okay, next is a total of $325,000 to go to the Department of Public Works, other purchase services. So let's get a motion on the table and then we can ask maybe for some detail on this one.
I make a motion to transfer $325,000 into DPW other purchased services.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to transfer $325,000 into DPW other purchase services. Kathleen, can you give us a little detail on that one?
Yes, we were in communication with UPW, actually yesterday and today to get a more detail on this because of the, how much is being requested. The larger portion of this is twofold. It's the construction, demolition, disposal costs were higher than they expected, as well as the gas and diesel costs. They signed contracts, for specific costs for the fuel, but some of them, they have like add-on costs that you can't.
Like an escalator or something like that?
Yeah,
or-
so, you make your best effort to estimate.
Yep.
It's a very difficult moving target to determine, so that's, and I think what we'll do, probably next year is to maybe break out the other purchase services, because it's such a generic term, it's hard to even determine what's in there. There was some, vehicle repairs and maintenance were in there, with some of the smaller costs. So I think for clarification purposes, next year we may try to break that out a little bit more, so it's a little easier to track and understand.
Okay, Mark?
So these are the kinds of costs that aren't offset by revenue from like extra stuff coming in?
They are, but because of the nature of the expense budget being a set dollar amount, it's separate from the revenue, it's not impacted by it. There should be a corresponding offset to revenue, but because the budget is just the budget, won't be
Okay.
impacted by the revenue.
The simple way to think about that in my head is, even if we take in more, like 20% more in C and D, we only budgeted so much to get rid of it, right? So if we take in a lot more in C and D, we gotta pay to get rid of it,
Right,
so.
right. Yeah, and this is an estimate as well, and you could have a great deal more business and the revenue will offset it, but because it's separately tracked, this is the limitation that happens.
Any further discussion on that? Again, the motion is to transfer $325,000 into DPW other purchase services. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
I am gonna abstain on this one.
Okay, we appreciate that. Dana's a former employee of the DPW.
Oh, terrific.
He retired at the end of the year, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah, okay. Chair votes,
Calendar.
chair votes yes, so it's 6-0 with Dana abstaining. Okay, next is a transfer of $7,555.04 as a Cape Cod Commission assessment adjustment. Have a motion on that?
I make a motion to transfer $7,555.04 into the Cape Cod Commission assessment account.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to transfer $7,555.04 into the Cape Cod Commission assessment account. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Got it. Okay, next, we have a request to transfer $10,000 into Community Center salary and wages. Have a motion?
Make a motion to transfer $10,000 into the community center salary and wages account.
A second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Thank you. Next is a request for $15,000 to be transferred into youth counselor's salary and wages. Have a motion?
Make a motion to transfer $15,000 into the youth counselor salary and wages account.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to transfer $15,000 into the youth counselor's salary and wages. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Okay, we're down to the last page, we're getting there. Next is a request to transfer into vacation salary and wages. Nope, wait a minute. Oh, from vacation salary and wages. Youth council longevity payment and youth council vacation salary and wages. The total amount is $13,281.08. Could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to transfer $152.72 into the youth counselor longevity account and also $13,128.36 into the youth counselor vacation salary and wage account.
For a total of $13,281.08, just so those following.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve that transfer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is a yes, 7-0. Thank you. Next, a request for $16,701.77 is a youth counselor sick leave buyback retirement.
I make a motion to transfer $16,701.77 into the youth counselor sick leave buyback retirement fund.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, I gotta do one at a time, I'm sorry. I forgot we're on TV. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Michelle, I was just checking to see if you're awake this
I
Sunday.
know.
Okay, and the last one we have here is $30,000 request to transfer into unemployment compensation.
I make a motion to transfer $30,000 into the unemployment compensation account.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded to transfer $30,000 to the unemployment compensation account. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll put that to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Chair is an aye, 7-0. Thank you. So I think we completed the list. Are there any additional ones?
No.
Okay, fabulous. So let's see. Do we need to sign this? Yes. Do you have the form for me to sign, or the official form?
This particular one, they're all the same. And frankly, you can sign the one that you have, they're all the same. And what it,
Well, except for I kept score.
Okay.
So,
I
Yeah,
can,
we have different copies.
Here's a clean one.
I can sign and then.
Mark doesn't take any notes, he
Uh,
keeps it all as mine.
Just has you as chairman signing.
okay, I need something other than a red pen.
I'm assuming it'll be in the next selectmen's.
There we go, look at this.
It's not red. Yeah.
Okay, date of the meeting, which is, today's the 13th, right? Number of present and voting. So, well, let's see. Present includes Dana, who's remote. What do I have to list him separately? He's present at the meeting, right? So 7. So we have a quorum, right? Finance chair. And then you can take this to the Board of Selectmen next week, and hopefully they will agree with our recommendations. How's that?
Perfect, thank you all so much.
Okay, we don't want to hold you up. Are there any other questions for our new finance director?
Nice meeting you, thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, Bob's got a question.
Question.
Of course.
So is just to try to understand the goal of this, then, in terms of because these are all budget transfers, right? So is the goal to end up with a budget number in the new line item that's received some transfer to be equal to the actual number that was spent?
A few of these, because of the unknown, they were estimates, so anything that was like a round number of 30,000. Those are very conservative, but estimates, in case of an unforeseen. So they will be very close to making them be, even. There may be a little bit of overage just because we just wanted to make sure it was done correctly and had enough. But yeah, that is the intention, is to, so everything will equal or be a little bit of a surplus rather than having any of these in a deficit.
But, okay, so it brings up the question, which I think is probably where you're really going. What happens with the surplus?
And like anything else, it goes to free cash.
Yeah, exactly. So it gets rolled into next year in the
Yeah.
free cash calculation, so.
Exactly, so it's kind of moving it from one bucket to another.
And do we have any
For
idea,
golf courses.
do we have any idea what that balance might be?
I wouldn't even want to fathom a guess.
Okay.
So, yeah. Wouldn't want us to
So
get-
you're probably gonna tell us we have to wait until free cash is certified until we know that.
That is always the most prudent thing. When I have a very, almost close to perfect estimate, I will definitely convey that, but I would
It's
never
okay.
want
Yeah, I'm sure people have told you we had $7+ million for free
Yeah.
cash last year. It was like, it's a blessing, but it's a curse, I think, I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of goes like that, so.
yeah.
Anyhow, we welcome you to the town of Harwich. We will be,
Thank you.
I'm sure, interacting with you.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah, and I'll do a test email tomorrow, see if
Oh,
I,
yes, terrific.
see if it works.
Yeah, and if I don't get something by the end of the day, I'll just reach out because it is, and I think my email is a little bit different than other people's email, so it doesn't even necessarily follow the same patterns.
Yeah, that's okay. And if I get to be too pesky, which we hope we
No,
won't.
no, I
You
think
know,
it's great. It's-
we will give you a list probably in August of the
Okay.
kind of documents we think we need to get into budget season.
Terrific.
Things, what's the debt schedule, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
those kinds of things that you would normally expect finance committees to say, hey, can we learn this, find this out,
Sure.
whatever. Okay?
And if there's any topics that you feel like, you're not really that
Oh.
familiar with, and you'd like to just go over like in general, it doesn't have to be specific to this, instance, but like, I never really understood enterprise funds or like some of the terminology that we use that seems so arbitrary and doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not intuitive. Be happy to like address a topic, in whatever way that works best for you.
We always seem to be interested in OPEB
Mhm.
and kind of like where we are, what's our, future obligations, and are we keeping up with that kind of thing? So maybe at some point, when you're ready,
Mhm.
come back and you could, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, give us, give us a shot at it, and let's see who we are. We love debt schedule, because we always like to try and take where we are today and then what are we adding on in the future with our capital plan, that kind of thing. Wastewater is obviously a big issue as it is in, almost every town.
Yeah.
And some of that wastewater, projecting what the debt's gonna be is a little tricky because you don't know what kind of grants you're gonna get or not, but
Yeah.
you gotta, it's kind of like, okay, the worst case would be like this and the best case,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we feel an obligation to prepare the taxpayers for what's coming, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Yeah, these are, especially debt, those are big numbers that kind of loom in the future, so.
Yeah, I think, I don't think it's any secret, I think wastewater is gonna dominate, our finances, except for normal operating stuff, for years to come, so.
Yeah,
And I know the selectmen are waiting for the state DEP to make some decision about are they really crunching this thing down from 40 years to 20 years, and what does it mean? That kind of thing.
yeah.
You did hit on enterprise fund, and I think that a topic would be, hey, how's the water wastewater guys set up, and, how's that money flow? That'd just be an educational thing, particularly where it's televised all the time, probably be folks out there in TV land would be interested, so.
Yeah, because it's like, it's similar but different, and, like revenue in a department versus revenue in an enterprise fund, it's kind of, it gets a little nuanced, and And once you kind of see, oh, that's how that gets calculated versus in the department, kind of for like, for like DPW, it does make a little bit more sense. It kind of puts things back in
Yep,
context.
yep. And then Bob had his question about the $7 million housing number. And actually, if you have a response on that, or questions on it, you might deal directly with Bob, just because he's got, he's been on that group, part of that group before,
Oh, okay.
and the CPC and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, you can get back to him directly if you'd like.
Yeah, if that's all right. I
No,
want
it's-
to do a little bit more research, so it's,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a more comprehensive answer. And I've been kind of working through the different funds, and CPA and CPC is still, I haven't actually gotten to really too involved in it, so I want to get more familiar, 'cause especially.
I could certainly send you a clearer question, and so that, to be working with.
Yeah, yeah.
And that way you can check email.
Yes,
Exactly.
that too.
Yeah, yeah.
And for this one exception, I'll let you not go through the chair, you can go directly.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, I'd be
Okay.
happy to.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Great.
just want to get like a better, because of the nature of how CPC is, it's, because you really don't know where you stand at the end of the year, and you really have to take into account votes from the future, and
Yep.
this gets
Yeah.
transferred. And yeah, it gets a little interesting.
It does.
Okay,
It
It's a
can.
little bit different.
It can.
Kathleen, we're going to go on to a few more business items. You're welcome to stay, welcome to go home, whatever you'd like to do.
Whatever is best. For
Most of it has to do with organization of the committee and, that kind of stuff. So, whatever you'd like,
Yeah,
that type of thing.
perfect.
So I
Thank you
sent,
for your time with all of this.
there you go.
And,
And welcome aboard again.
Thank you.
We look
Thank
forward to
you.
working with you.
And I will, they'll be voting Monday, the Board of Selectmen, so I'll make sure that you get a complete,
Yep,
fully executed document.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks,
Have a good
Kathleen.
evening.
Nice to meet you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so I sent you in my email about this meeting reminder that I was notified by Karen that she has resigned from the committee. I'm not going to discuss that here, but she did resign, so I respect that. And so we're short one person. If you know of anybody who might be interested in serving in the Finance Committee, you should get them to fill out a citizen activity form and get it to the moderator, because he's the appointing authority, if you will. Okay? It is that time of year, we got through town meeting, it's time for us to reorganize. So in our organization, we have a chairman, a vice chairman, and a clerk are the three major, I just call it leadership positions that we need to figure out for the year ahead. So, I'm just making a note so I don't lose it. And you remember that Karen was our vice chair. Dana was our clerk. So Dana, let's start at the bottom of this list. What are your plans for, and I'm not holding you to it, but, for like next year? I mean, are you gonna be around for town meeting or lead up to town meeting? I don't know what your schedule is, so. Not that it didn't work this year, but,
We'll be back in time for town meeting, but I will be away during the winter months. So I would like to pass on the clerk's job. Hoping Bob would like to be something like that. But I think that I will work with the clerk to make sure that we just produce the numbers like I did, produce the numbers and the reasons and all that for our warrant. That was the biggest thing.
well, and I think quite frankly, having Judith on board has helped a lot. The clerk used to set up like this meeting.
Right.
Would set up this meeting, with Channel 18 and all that stuff, and, had to get permission and all those and come up with the agenda. Judith now does that. I think she does it pretty well. Once in a while we mix
Yeah,
up the
very
day of the
good,
week,
yeah.
but I mean, she's getting the hang of it, so that helps a lot, I think, Okay, so let's see where we want to go with this. Who wants to be chair?
Nominate Bob McCready
For what?
for a clerk of the board for next year.
Starting at the bottom, going up.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, wait, can you just hold that for a second? Let's just have a discussion,
Sure. I
okay?
withdraw my motion.
This is Democrat. I always like to deal with, people who want to be in the slots before we just assign them to be in the slots. Okay. All right. So who wants to be chair of this committee?
Peter does.
Well, I will do it if nobody wants to do it. I mean, I always believe in rotating if, we're giving people a chance to do it, but I don't mind doing it if you want me to do it, so.
I would highly recommend that you continue as chair.
Okay, well, let's hold that for a second. All right, who would be willing to be vice chair? Would you do vice chair?
Question.
Yeah.
Could you describe the responsibilities?
Of the vice chair?
Sure, yes.
You're in charge of all vices.
In the absence of the chair, you take over as chairmanship. So for instance, if I called up and said I'm on vacation or I can't be at this meeting, then you would run this meeting, okay? And take some appropriate minutes, although Judith takes them from, from the recordings and comes up with the minutes. You have to make sure that the clerk actually gets things posted and that kind of thing. I mean, if the chair isn't around.
Yep.
And most of it is just rounding up you cats so we can herd you here to get to a meeting. I mean, it really is. It's one of those things. But I always think that the chair should be anticipating that the vice chair rather, should be anticipating that at some point they will assume the chairmanship. Just because, it's good to have a bench strength, to have some people kind of getting a little bit of experience and running a couple of meetings and that kind of thing, so. And it pays well.
Yes, like everything else I'm doing now, it pays well.
Right.
Exactly. That's something that interests you? If it doesn't, it's okay to say no. I mean, it's,
I guess I'd prefer somebody that's been here more than just the 1 year, if somebody else is willing to do it. If not, I'd be willing to do it.
okay, so you hear that. Is anybody willing to do that? See, they're all saying no, so I mean, you know the answer, right? Okay, so we have
I
a
can
vice.
hope.
Okay, all right, so now we're working down the path here. See, this is good. Who would like to be clerk? Did anybody raise their hand? There's only 4 candidates left here.
I would like to nominate Mark Kelleher to be clerk because he's filled in the past.
He takes good
Somewhat
notes.
familiar with what needs to be done.
Can I just ask
He's
a-
willing to take it on.
If I could just ask a question. Dana, so Judith Molstead now does what you did before, in other words, setting up the meetings, Channel 18, is that correct?
Yes, I don't have to do that anymore. Peter sends an email out and she takes care of it from there. Does a great job.
And she does the minutes as
So
well?
the biggest role I had after that, once that went away, was just the town meeting prep in terms of the reasons for the articles and all that.
Yeah. And I
That's
thought,
something I'm certainly going to work with.
yeah, I thought you did a great job on that. I was wondering who wrote that. You did a great job. I mean, if you're willing to give some guidance on that,
Yeah.
I'd be willing to, as long as nobody else, I'd be willing to take that on, but, just to get some input, because again, you did a great job. You explained it well, and I'd want some input from you to do that correctly, so.
I think I've done it the last 4 or 5 years. So
Okay.
You gotta catch him before he goes on his road trip. No.
We have a warrant ready, but yeah, I think if we could do some of it, and then I get a little lay of the land. He had a good historical perspective, which I didn't, but yeah, I'd be willing to take on the clerkship, thanks to Dan. Thank you, Dan. Unless anybody else wants to go in the competition.
The way the clerk works is after the vice chair moves up the chair, the clerk moves up the vice chair. Although Dana dodged that bullet, and Karen vacated the office, so nothing worked this time. Okay, so we have all that. We need a motion for those 3 officers, if you will.
I move to fill those offices as discussed.
For Judith's record, let's just state who they are and what they are. So chairman,
You, sorry.
Me.
Peter
Peter
Hughes.
Hughes.
Peter Hughes chairman, vice chairman,
Mr. McCready.
Bob McCready. Clerk,
Clerk, Mark Kelleher.
he's shaking his head, Mark Keller. Okay.
Second?
Second.
Moving second to adopt that slate for the coming year. Any discussion? Anybody want to back out?
Just one discussion, and I don't want to put Michelle on the spot. Karen was, and you know this better than anybody, Peter, very helpful with the spreadsheets and doing things like that. They're organizing that. You know, if Michelle, you know that, and you could help out, because I'm not that good with that. Maybe some of you other guys.
Oh,
but-
I could
But
absolutely.
that would be a great help to help
Yeah.
organize
Yeah.
us and to.
Yeah, so Karen did put those spreadsheets together on various
Right,
issues,
yeah.
right? Tracking and stuff that,
Yeah.
I could help out on that,
Okay,
yeah.
that'd be
That's
great.
not a problem with me, I just can't.
Okay, I'm going to get back to that in a second, but, all right, so we have a slate, moved in second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye,
Bob?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Sure, I guess has to vote yes, so it's 7-0. As regards the spreadsheet, or spreadsheets, I want to just caution you before you get too far into it, because Karen did a lot of work on things, and then Dana had his own way of sort of doing it and tracking it, and they didn't always dovetail, okay? So I think maybe in the fall, before we get into the whole budget season and all that stuff, if we could solidify what that format would be,
yeah.
we'll save some duplication, that's all. You agree with that, Dana? I mean, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I just track it myself, as I always have, even back in the days when I was on the Board of Selectmen. I track all that stuff my own way, just to make sure that we had the numbers right. And,
yeah, but you had your spreadsheet and she had hers, and they didn't necessarily jive, and there was some duplication, that's all I'm trying to point out.
right, and we can clean that up.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Yes, now
saying.
we do have some nice spreadsheets, maybe 2 or 3, but nice spreadsheets to work that through with.
Yeah,
I know for us, until we started gathering that together for us new folks, we didn't know what we were talking about until we started seeing the spreadsheets, and then yes, the timing and organization, whatever, there's a real opportunity there to turn it into a more organized process.
It's remarkable how much we all learned that, especially that first year of getting ready for town meeting, getting through
Yeah,
town meeting.
exactly.
Because now you're starting to pay attention, it's like, you know, so. Okay, that's terrific. The next topic, and we don't have, yep, go
May I
ahead.
ask a question? So those sheets that we're talking about were mainly tracking what? That was, the tracker that Karen was doing was tracking, can you refresh my memory? I'm sorry. It
Well,
was tracked,
the particular one at the end, I'll call it the last or semi-last version, that includes Dana's component, starts with the articles and ends up with with where the cash, how it's being funded. So we had, depending upon who was keeping track, different iterations of votes and
Oh, okay.
of changes in amounts.
yeah, got it.
As
Yeah, that's pretty
every
easy.
week, the selectmen would change how much the
Yeah,
article was.
yeah.
And so there was a spreadsheet with article on the left and finally funding on the right, and a bunch of stuff going on in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, so I can do the spreadsheets, no problem. I just need to make sure I'm putting the right numbers in, right? Yeah. Okay, got it.
And I'll send you a copy of what I did in the past, so you can see. I have one spreadsheet with 3 tabs on it. One is the line items, one is the budget, and one is the capital plan. That's all come through
Okay,
one sheet. I'll send you a copy of that.
okay, great.
Okay, good. Okay, I just want to point out that at some point, not this evening, we need to identify our Finance Committee liaisons. I think everybody had their liaisons from last year. Karen had liaisons, those positions will have to be filled. I do think particularly in my head, the Capital Outlay Committee going forward is more important than it's ever been. In my mind, the discussion battle over trying to change the philosophy down at 204 Sisson Road, I think that's over with, quite frankly. I mean, there'll be some details coming in the future. I really think the action is focusing on wastewater. And if you remember, we were trying to drag in some wastewater, add some wastewater to make the plan, plan more complete, and that didn't happen. So I think that we get two appointments, or two appointees to the capital outlay committee, and I would just like to make sure, you know, I think that's where the passion needs to be, if you will, or the work needs to be in getting that tail end of the plan really work and geared up for wastewater, so we can really tell people what's going on in wastewater in the future. So, Mark, you did a great job last year. I mean, I hope you would stay or want to stay as, you know, on the capital outlay committee. I don't know, you,
I would like to.
okay, and is there somebody else who would like to jump in on that one? Michelle, your name is calling.
I have a question. I just have a question.
Yeah,
That's fine, I can do it. I'm just curious. I'm trying to manage my commitments for
Yep.
next
No, I
year.
understand.
'Cause
I
I got a lot
understand.
of stuff going on. But I was on open space this year.
Yep.
And I attended one meeting to introduce myself.
yep,
But I never talked to them ever after that.
that's the perfect liaison.
So, yeah, so I was trying to figure out, is that something that I'm supposed to be going to their meetings all the time? Or I only get called in as they need me? So I'm trying to figure out the commitment
Okay, so-
for these liaisons.
So each of us can handle how we deal with our assignments or liaisons as we choose. I always take the approach, you introduce who you are, I'm here to help. If you need me, call me. Or if there's some topic coming up you think I need to be informed on, like some article they want to put into the warrant or something like
Yeah.
that, then please avail yourself the opportunity to call me. And just like we have a liaison, I don't know who it is now, it changed, it was Mary Anderson last year for the Board of Selectmen. And, you know, we'd call her if it was important to be here, but, you know, you probably saw her twice, I don't know. I mean, you know, it kind of goes like that. I was police and fire, for one, and fire department, basically when we get down to the end about, the biggest issue was the staffing stuff, you know, the new bodies at the
Yeah.
end. And then end up having a couple of phone calls or something with the chief. I mean, that's all. Other people, you know, if you're so inclined and you want to go to every monthly meeting they have, that's okay. I mean, you know, you can have fun, you stay well informed.
Yeah,
But the
So the
role
capital
really is,
outlay- yeah, go
really
ahead.
is to be a facilitator between that group, if you will, or committee, and the finance committee. Okay, so if they have a request or need that, you know, you're knowledgeable of it and, you know, can bring it back. Now, capital outlay is a little different in that you gotta be part of building the plan. Part of building the
Right.
plan, right? So there's what, 5, 6 members of the capital outlay committee, and the job is to get the requests in for capital items and get them laid out on the plan and bring them forward, basically, so.
time commitment.
It can be,
I mean, I just, you know, I have to be.
we bring in
realistic.
different department heads, you know, it only goes up until like January, February, then it's done. Okay, and then it's done. I mean,
Yeah.
after that, it's,
Yeah, I have some pretty serious commitments this coming fall.
That's okay,
So,
that's
yeah,
okay.
I don't know if that's the right fit for me right now.
Okay, all right. Anybody else want to jump in on that? Just because I think that's the most important one is the capital outlay at the moment.
I mean, I could certainly try it and, you know, if it gets to be too
you know,
much. but-
I do think we only met, like, even though it was, like, not more than twice a month, you know? And it was during the day sometimes, too. It wasn't in the evening. We'd, like, meet at 12. But anyways,
Was that at the call of the chair?
pardon me?
Was that at the call of the chair meeting during the day?
Yes, and I think we were mostly free. I mean, we'd work it around everybody's schedule, but we would generally meet during the day, although I
So
think,
daytime's a problem, Michelle, just say it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work for me.
Okay, who else might be interested in that one?
Peter, I'm liaison to 3 committees. So would if I went on capital outlay, would I give up one of those?
You can keep them if you want, okay, but it's always good to share the load. So if you said, I will take on capital outlay, but I want to give up, I don't know, I'd be down here, library, right?
I got Brooks Library, the bylaws
CPC,
and CPC, yeah.
yep,
And the only meetings that I routinely attend is the bylaws committee because I need to learn a lot more
Sure.
about that.
Yeah.
With the others. So I'll take on capital outlay
okay, all right.
and not give up anything because I like those committees.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This is last year's sheet. I'm going to make a new sheet. I'll circulate it to everybody and say, just tell me what you want. And if we have conflicts, so we don't get anybody signing up for things, we'll get that resolved at the next meeting, okay?
Good.
Is that all right? All right. So, well, we lose Dan. Oh, he's
Nope,
back.
he's sort of there.
He's in the
It's
dark.
been cut-
All right,
cut
so-
in and out, so I think I'm
I think there was a communication glitch on our side because our picture disappeared.
Yeah, when we talked about capital outlay, you didn't want to be on the screen, right? Okay, so we did in the run-up to town meeting, we did kind of get a little bit off kilter with our schedule on meeting. You know, meeting day and when and all, and where even, right? For a while, we were meeting over at the Channel 18, studio. And now we're back here for whatever reason, which is fine. I don't, it doesn't bother me either way. And I think we meeting the 3rd Thursday at 6 o'clock, something like that. Was that what it was?
Website says second Thursday.
Second Thursday.
Yeah.
All right, so second Thursday.
Should be the 13th of July.
So is that a time and date that sort of works for people? I mean, we're into that routine. I thought it was pretty good. You said it's July 13th?
Correct.
Okay,
What time, Peter? 6 or 6:30?
6.
6.
And what's your preference? You want to meet in here?
I think it's easier on the staff if we meet here.
You think what?
I think it's easier on Channel 18 if we
Yeah, it
meet here.
is. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Do we know if there are any conflicts with this room for that?
Okay, so here we go. Our new clerk. Who's our new clerk? Who's our new clerk?
It's me.
Okay. All right, so here's what you need to do. We settled on this time, right, and this date. You need to, during business hours, go down to the selectman's office, okay? When you walk in the door, there's big calendars laid out on the table, okay? You want to start writing in Finance Committee for there's a calendar for the small meeting room, if I remember correctly. And start plugging in the dates and get us like the next 4 months. Okay? The next thing you want to do is communicate with Judith
Okay, yeah.
and get started. Once you lock up that, the room and the date, get started with her on getting that agenda together, and I can help you with that. But she's the one that has to get the credentials for, the machine and all that for broadcasting.
When you say agenda, would we know the agenda now, or we just do
No,
a general?
you should just work to reserve the room. I can make an agenda.
Okay,
The agenda for July is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be the minutes from this meeting. It's going to be Finance Committee liaisons and any other business we have. It's going to be that simple.
new
Okay.
business that we could call it.
Yeah, and if, for instance, if the finance director, lets me know she's ready to talk about something, we'll bring her in, but it can be that simple. And she knows, huh?
The town technically has until July 15th to close out the books, so if she finds that there's 1 or 2 more transfers that have to be made, we could do it that date on the 13th. Something-
Yeah, we can do that under other. But, you know, she has the format now for all this gobbledygook that goes up front, you know, so.
Okay.
And of course,
Go ahead.
we can all always participate remotely, right? If
Yeah.
we're traveling.
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely. There's one right there. Okay, anything else? You're late.
That's all right.
Okay. Any other business?
Yes. On my plane ride down to Spring, Texas, 3.5 hour plane ride, I went through the Harwich annual report, the
Yeah.
town's annual report, and I read what was under there for the finance committee. And it struck me that on our website, on the town's website, FinCom, okay, we have a strategic plan on that website. And we have not reviewed that strategic plan since we first developed it some 4 years
Who
ago.
put the plan together?
Pardon me?
Who put the plan together
I did.
Wow.
for the finance committee?
Yeah, it's when
Okay.
John was the,
Yeah, okay, okay.
and it was approved by the finance committee at the time, but like I said, it hasn't been revisited since then. And I was wondering whether it's something that should go into the town's annual report. So I was thinking that maybe we could include that as an agenda item on some future meeting.
Let's do it next month.
Yeah.
Cool.
You'll put it together?
Sure.
Okay. Make sure we all have copies or whatever.
What's
are
it called,
distributed.
strategic plan?
Yeah.
It's on our website, it's the third item on the left, March 4th, 2021.
Now, did that ever go beyond the finance committee as far as somebody approving it or not approving it, or, I mean,
No, I think it just was approved by the finance committee
Just
at
on,
the time. Didn't go any further.
okay, so once it was approved, did anybody ever look at it?
No, that's why I'm
Okay, all right,
raising
okay. All right,
the issue.
that's a good topic for next meeting. All right, anything else?
I also noticed our page, our finance committee page is outdated. References things from 2021. So I don't know who updates that.
The best thing, you mean on the website?
Yeah.
The best thing to do, here's what you do. Make a copy of it, okay? Mark it up the way you think it should be. Bring it to our next meeting. We'll all say, yes, that's good, and then we'll give it to whoever's doing website these days.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, could I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Non-debatable.
Aye.
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 All right.
Dana?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
thank you, have a good night.
All
We're
right.
done.
To